How is everybody today?
We're doing quite well this morning. Big day for the station. Glad you could be a part of it. How are you?
I am good. Why is it a big day? Because of the new music show?
Well, that, and also we're broadcasting at 10K for the majority of the day, or for the day. At night, we're apparently broadcasting at only 1K, but during the day, we are broadcasting at 10K, where we have a whole wide reach spanning multiple counties now, all the way up to Orange and Putnam and
big
Westchester. Big old powerful system.
So then I need to amend the Good Morning Rockland County to Good Morning Rockland County and counties surrounding.
There you go.
Yeah, and surrounding counties. There you go. Rockland County and friends.
All right. That's excellent news. Excellent news. Because you know what? There are some pretty interesting things going on in this county that people in the surrounding counties should know about.
Oh?
So let me talk about, I'm going to talk about real estate today, depending on how much I can cram in. There are three things I want to touch on, and they all, in a way, relate to each other. Let's start with the good people of Stony Point, who will go to the polls tomorrow and decide the fate of the Patriot Hills Golf Course and the adjoining land on the former Letchworth Village property, to decide whether to move forward with Raja Amar, the resident and local first-time developer, who is envisioning a hotel, spa, conference center, and an updated golf course on that very fallow and underutilized site. So this is, I think, 4 years in the making already, since he went to the golf course and suggested that he revitalize this entire piece of land, and the town has a contract with him, but it ultimately has been brought to a referendum. I think largely, I think it's twofold. I think one is that the people of Stony Point are concerned about the golf course and being able to continue to have access to it, which they would under the contract, and they're just concerned, I guess, in general about the direction of where this development may go. And so there is a group that has opposed this publicly, that has forced this into a debate, that has forced this into a referendum. And I don't have a crystal ball on this. I don't know which way this is going to go, up or down. It is an up or down vote. Specifically, the language of this referendum is, shall the town board resolution authorizing the sale of Patriot Hills Golf Course and former Letchworth property be approved? So it sounds simple. Nothing is simple. The opposition, largely led by the activist group Space, their position is that the details of the contract are nebulous and have not been worked through, and that there's not enough information for voters to make an educated decision. Although, ironically, these are the people who forced the referendum, the town board, particularly Supervisor Jim Monahan, and the town in general is really pushing for this development, because it has been a long time that this property has stood fallow, and not only that, but the golf course is, it's with every year gone by where it really doesn't have any maintenance or upgrade, it is just more devaluation for the golf course itself. So we will be watching what happens at the polls tomorrow in Stony Point. I think that it will be, an interesting outcome, and I think it's an interesting outcome because, it's not just this one property down up in Letchworth, but we're looking at certainly the HNA site, which the town of Orangetown and Teresa Kenny has jumped in to try to redevelop, again, with the vision of hotel, spa, convention center, all those trimmings. We've got this site up here in Stony Point, And we've also published a story this morning or yesterday about a California hotelier who is purchasing the Sisters Servants land for a wellness destination for $11 million. So the broad question that I think this is raising is Rockland having a moment where it's recognizing that it has these large, beautiful, parcels that might be ripe to make Rockland a destination for this kind of tourism, destination tourism where people come to a hotel property and they golf and they spa and they do whatever it is they do in those properties. And so there are three parcels in play where this is being contemplated. This would be, we've talked about hotels on this show before and recently. This would be, I think, a market change from the largely chain or flag hotels, the Marriotts, the Hyatts, the Hiltons. These kind of individual properties or luxury properties, because they may end up with a brand name anyway, but these luxury properties, it would add a new cachet to the tourism market of Rockland. So let's talk about this property. So if you've ever been on if anyone's ever been on the St. Mary's, on the Sisters Servants property on Sterling Mine Road in the town of Ramapo, just I guess it's north of Sloatsburg, you know how incredible and hidden and beautiful that piece of property is. So a California hotelier is in the process of purchasing the St. Mary's Villa Retreat House, which is a giant mansion, and adjoining land, about 140 acres, to put up a boutique hotel. This particular buyer is W. Alex Glasscock, and he is the owner of the ranch in Malibu, a place that goes for like $1,000 a night. Is that going to be what he creates here? I don't know, but from what we understand, he is planning to create a mid-sized boutique hotel and wellness center from at St. Mary's Villa, which is like a 52-room residence. Now, the sisters, not to worry, will be carving off a piece of the land and staying on 45 acres and using the proceeds to do all sorts of upgrades that they need to do to the St. Joseph's Adult Care Home and some other things on the property. But I just think that it's interesting that a hotelier who has a very successful high-end property in Malibu has chosen Rockland County for his. I believe this will be his second project. As far as I can tell, I don't see him attached to any other hotel project. So, what is happening here in Rockland? What are we going to be a destination for spa luxury hotels? Question mark.
The Nyack Time, would you qualify that as something similar to that? And that really didn't do as well as they thought they would do. But
no, not at all. I mean, the Nyack Hotel wanted to cash in on the boutique craze, and I suppose it ended up being a Hyatt property. These three projects that I'm talking about, they're all on parcels that exceed, I think it's, there's a lot of acreage. At least two of them exceed 100 acres. And they are hidden, and they're bucolic, and they're ghetto, they're destinations where you can certainly get lost. I mean, they each have lakes and trails, and I mean, we had, one of Rockland's greatest assets is nature. These hoteliers, I suppose, are seeing that potential. So this one, the $11 million sale still depends on approval from the court, because the Sisters Servants are a religious organization, they're a nonprofit, so they still need a final approval there. But this deal looks like it's going to certainly happen, we will see how the Stony Point voters vote, but if this referendum passes, then I guess Raja Amar and his development or group will be on their way to start. I suppose looking for a hotel. He has floated Ritz-Carlton. Maybe there will be another operator. But I think this, this changes. Certainly, it changes the formula. Jeff, I think Jeff asked me the question. I think the closest thing that we can look at is Mike Bruno's property, Valley Rock Inn.
Okay, sure.
There's another example of taking something that was just run down and also fallow to houses and old buildings, and turning it into something rather unique. I think that he's done a pretty good job in creating a wedding destination. And he's also used that property cleverly to create like an outdoor eating scene where there's it almost feels like a little bit of like Colorado, where like in the winter there's kind of that outdoor après-ski environment. So he's done a real good job with that parcel. That whole corridor is changing now. That corridor, what do we see in that corridor? We see Legoland, and we see Woodbury Common, and we see the casinos. Is that who is going to be attracted to an upscale boutique spa nestled in the woods, or is it a place that's just kind of unto itself? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a hotel expert, but this gentleman, he's got super successful property out in California. It wins awards, but from Condé Nast and those travel publications. So it'll be very interesting to see what he develops here. It'll be very interesting to see how the voters vote, and we're still trying to keep an eye on whether anything is materializing at the HNA site and whether any deal is being made down there. So all eyes on this. One last thing on the real estate front, not hotel related, but kind of in a sense food related, and that is that Rockland Plaza, we published this last week, that Rockland Plaza is intending to kind of remake itself into a sort of restaurant hub. It's going to tear down the Nanuet Diner, and it's going to tear down the Modell's building, and it's creating spaces for all food retailers or restaurants. So if you're familiar with that, and doing some changing with the parking spaces, not material, but another interesting development in the county on the retail and restaurant front. A lot going on. This is why we're happy to be talking to more counties.
And indeed, we will going forward, of course, with our top story today at 10,000 watts. So thank you very much, Tina, for joining us as always. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.